I want to say a big thank you to this video's sponsor, Blinkist. For me, each day begins with my cell phone and also ends with my cell phone. Between sending messages, FaceTiming friends, and browsing online, my phone has not just become an integral part of my social connections, but cell phones have become a foundational part of our entire society. In less than 20 years, I went from recording 8-track tapes off the radio to now having access to every song, show, or movie, all from a device that fits neatly into my pocket. But what kind of effect is this level of convenience and connectivity having on us? And while this digital revolution is still too recent for any long-form data to be drawn for the research, early evidence does suggest that frequent cell phone use has been found to reduce memory, shorten attention spans, and reduce cognitive ability. All of which is pretty worrisome, seeing as over the last 3 weeks, I've averaged 7.5 hours of phone usage per day. And I just took a test on smartphone addiction, and based on my score, I was recommended to see an addiction specialist to get help. Holy shit. I want to see how my life changes if I stop using my cell phone entirely. And to help make sure I stick to this goal, I've purchased a small safe to keep my phone locked away in. The key for the safe will be kept with my friend Derek, so once I shut the door, there's no getting it back until this challenge is over. And so begins my 30 days without a cell phone. Without the distraction of my phone, my hope for day one is that I can sit down and lock in on my work. Before locking my phone up, I forgot to put it on silent, and it makes my workday absolute hell. Shut up! This thing is still going off. It's been 2 full days now. I don't know how long a cell phone typically lasts, but I am ready for this to die. Hearing all those notifications has not only been stressful because I feel like I'm missing something. I don't know what's going on. It's resulted in me checking my email on my desktop constantly, my Facebook constantly, and it's made me not as productive as I wanted to be these 2 days, and that's really frustrating. So I'm just hoping that thing dies soon because it's been a huge pain for my work days. By day 3, things start to look up. I haven't heard anything in 2 hours. I think it might finally be dead. Okay. Day 3 update. So far, honestly, there have only been a few inconveniences. The first being I no longer have access to Car2Go, which means I have no access to driving a vehicle. The second that I've been inconvenienced by is not having Google Maps mobily. Yesterday, I had to hand draw a map before I left my house, so I made sure I knew where I was going. But probably the biggest thing that I've noticed is I've been so bored. And that's because I'm extremely reliant on my cell phone for entertainment, and it's absurd. I took a 45-minute bus ride downtown yesterday, and without a cell phone, I just sat there and did nothing and was bored. And I quickly realized I do not experience boredom because I always have my phone that I'm using. So what I think I need to do now is try to form some better and healthier habits for entertaining myself that aren't reliant on my cell phone. To try and combat boredom, I pick up the book Sleep by Nick Littlehales. And even though I've never been a huge reader, I get hooked. I read when I'm walking, at the bus stop, at coffee shops. I finish that book and I pick up another book. I read 2 books in a week, which for me is really good. And my problems with boredom quickly go away. I just slept for 9 hours. Oh my gosh.
know 9 hours may not seem like a big deal to most people, but I haven't slept 9 hours in probably 2 years. On average, I'd say I get between 5.5 to 6 hours of sleep a night. I have some weird sleeping problems that I've always equated to stress, but thinking about how I use my cell phone, it kind of makes sense why I would struggle to sleep. The blue light emitted off our phone screen mimics daylight, meaning looking at them constantly through the evening suppresses our body's natural production of melatonin, a hormone that's essential for falling asleep. And studies show that the more time you spend looking at your phone screen, the more likely you are to experience poorer sleep quality and shorter sleep duration. And the effect is even more pronounced when smartphones are used closer to bedtime. That's why sleep specialist Nick Littlehales recommends cutting screen time 90 minutes before bedtime to help your body wind down, and suggests actually sleeping with your phone outside of your room to prevent any disturbances or distractions to your sleep. Having my phone locked away has forced me to do both of these things, and if a 9-hour night of sleep is what it's going to give me in return, then I should really look at keeping this habit after the challenge is over.
And sleep isn't the only thing I see improvements in. Without the distraction of my cell phone, my ability to focus on my work drastically improves. Having periods of 4 to 6 hours of focused work, where my only breaks are for water and for the bathroom. And I'm able to meet all of my deadlines and even get ahead in some projects. And it feels so good to get into this flow state and be so productive. It also allows me to separate work and play better so that I'm able to fully relax and not think about my work during my leisure time. And I think that's part of the reason why I spend so much of my time trying to get into this flow state. I watch YouTube videos on avoiding procrastination, read books on productivity, I listen to podcasts, all trying to find ways to help me fall into this state. But the biggest detractor from getting into a flow state is from distraction. And for me, and probably most commonly for everyone, is getting distracted by cell phones. According to Apple, iPhone users unlock their phone on average 80 times per day. That is 80 opportunities to be distracted throughout the day, and who knows for how long each time. One of the most addictive aspects of a phone lies in its capacity for what's called intermittent variable rewards. Basically, all that means is that every time we use our phones, we're enticed by the possibility of finding something new or exciting. This could be a funny message from a friend, or seeing how many likes you got on the latest photo you shared, or maybe it's a new match on Tinder, if you're lucky enough to get those. It's the random nature of these rewards that keep us coming back, checking to see if we've got something new. Much in the same way, slot machines became the driving force for casino profits. Our phones have become a daily source of stimulation mixed with random rewards. But instead of cranking a lever, we're scrolling apps, emails, waiting for the next notification to come across our screens. I'm able to finish the challenge off with relative ease, and it's honestly pretty nice not having a phone around, so I can enjoy the holidays with the people that I'm with. Looking back over the last 30 days with no cell phone, there have been quite a few positives that have come from this challenge. First off, I have been way more focused in my work than I have been in a long time. I've been getting better sleep. I've felt even more present socially. I've also read 5 books this month, which is crazy because I don't know if I've ever done that in my entire life before. Going forward, I am going to use my cell phone again, but I want to be more deliberate about how I'm using it. I want to turn my phone off 90 minutes before I go to bed, and I want to keep my cell phone out of my bedroom. I also want to be diligent with either turning my phone off or putting it in airplane mode when it's time to work so that I'm not getting distracted by notifications. Going forward, I want to take control over how I'm using my cell phone so that my cell phone isn't controlling me. And if you're someone that struggles with frequent cell phone usage, which is probably the most of us, then I would really recommend taking 30 days and trying to do this challenge yourself, because it gives you a really good perspective on how your phone affects you, how you rely on your phone, and taking a step back to be able to manage your cell phone better. I want to say thank you to this video's sponsor, Blinkist. Blinkist is an app for people that care about learning but might not have a lot of free time to indulge in it. Either as audio or text, Blinkist is an app that takes thousands of nonfiction books and breaks them down into digestible 15-minute summaries where you get all of the key points on the topic. I use Blinkist to explore a lot of new topics and research subjects that oftentimes wind up here in these videos on the channel. It's a great way to take a quick dive into an idea, whether you're at the gym, on the go, or maybe you just find longer nonfiction a bit intimidating. It's really handy to get the general idea and has actually led me to go and pick up a few books that I wouldn't have otherwise known about or necessarily been interested in. Blinkist actually originally introduced me to one of my all-time favorite books, Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. And after going through a few blinks, I decided to go and pick it up, and I'm so glad that I did. I've also been recently on a binge of Cal Newport's stuff on Blinkist. I've read through Digital Minimalism and Deep Work, so if you're into that, you should definitely check those out. I get a ton of use out of this app, and if you're interested and want to give it a shot for yourself, the first 100 people to click on the link below will get a 7-day free trial, and if you choose to get a membership, it'll be 25% off. Thanks again for watching, and if you like what we do here on Goal Guys and you want to support us, you can head on over to our Patreon and get some additional content that we post on there while you're at it. So yeah, I hope your 2020 is off to a great start, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.